go on and make sure we're public. All right, we should be live right now. Let's see. I'm just going to make it so it's public for everyone to see. Edit privacy. All right, there we are. We should be good.
All right.
All right, we're on there. You hear me okay, Wallace?
I can hear you good.
All right, excellent, excellent. Now you're down in Georgia, correct? Right now, is
I
where you
am
live.
the Atlanta area. Yes.
Okay. Well, I've been paying attention to your club down there for a long time, and it looks like you guys have a real tight group and really enjoy working in the sport. I hope I can get down there and hang out and watch you guys train one day.
Come visit.
I'd love to. We got a bunch of questions. I'll jump right into them because I
All
know
right.
you're under a time restraint here, and we won't keep you too long. It's a holiday weekend. I wasn't thinking when we set this date, so I don't want to ruin your holiday, and
No
and
problem.
and and we'll jump right to it. So let me ask you this, Wallace. When did you get started in dog training? Around what year? How old were you?
Ooh, I'm 67 now, so I can't really remember. I'm getting old. But it was around 83. I was in Germany. I was
Okay.
working for the Army at the time. I had got out the military and I was working as a club manager in Augsburg, Germany. I didn't know, little did I know that was the headquarters for the SB at the time. But
Gotcha.
a friend of mine, I had Rottweilers. Rottweiler is my breed of choice. But
I don't know if you can see that there. Mine too. It's there somewhere.
yeah, but I got into it. I got a Rottweiler, and a guy saw me on the parade field on base. He was a soldier, and this was in '83. And he came up to me and asked me had I ever heard of Schutzen. I didn't know what the hell that was. Schutz what? And he took me out to a club, to a DBG club actually, and it went from there.
So that was
I
going to be
really,
my.
I
Go
really
ahead.
didn't want to do anything to make dogs bite. All I was
Yeah.
interested in was obedience.
No, I understand. And that kind of leads into my next question because I was going to ask you, did you get into Schutzen after you started dog training? But it seems like Schutzen kind of pulled you into dog training.
It did. It did.
Did you compete with a Rottweiler in the beginning?
Yeah, yeah. In the beginning, once I got back to the States, over
Yeah.
there, I was going to a club a lot. Didn't want to do tracking, just didn't want to do the bite work. Didn't end up doing the bite work, but still, no one wants to do tracking at first. Most people don't.
Yeah.
And I was one of those most people. So I didn't do anything there. I just was a member of a Schutzen club there in Königsbrunn, Germany. And once I got back to the States in 80, let's see, 83 and 86, I believe, somewhere around through there, 80, 86. I started doing things. In 88, I titled my first dog, and it was a Rottweiler.
Rottweiler?
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Would you ever go back to a Rottweiler or you're too serious about the competition now?
Well, this is my last dog I'm going to compete with. And then after that, um, I'll get a Rottweiler as a pet. It'll stay in my
See,
house.
you,
And the
you,
only thing I'll teach is to come when I call it.
you're answering all my questions because I was going to ask you, take your shepherds away, no competing. What's your breed of choice? So I love it because that's my heart and soul too. And
Yeah.
when I lost my last one, it's been a little while, but the family's definitely ready. What's making you hang it up?
You get tired. I've been doing this now on a competitive level since '97.
Yeah,
And the grind to try to stay at that level is really hard. And you go through a lot of dogs, you go through a lot of training. Um, um, Chris Taylor did a video for me one time about is practice fun. When I'm training, it's not fun. It's
right.
training. Going to a
Sure.
trial is really what I like, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of stress for me in training. And if you're trying to play at a high level, well, you have these things, and you're trying to get 300 as best you can, so that's difficult. So I'm tired of being difficult. I'm not going to get out of Schützen or IGP. I won't do that. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
title dogs, but at a competitive level, no. I just stick to coaching. That's what
Gotcha.
I really
Okay.
want to do after this year.
So you'll still hang with your club and run things over there and bring the young people up,
Oh yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Now, when you got on the field for the first time to title your first dog, do you remember what that felt like? Was it nerve-wracking for you?
I had a turtle head. How about you? How about you? You had a turtle head, did you?
I don't compete. I
Hey,
don't
hey,
compete.
hey, and we didn't have to do BHs then, so we went straight to the title.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I was about to shit my pants.
Uh, everything go okay, or did anything just go completely wrong that day?
Uh, Actually, the first dog I titled, it was a success, and it was success by accident. He was it was at the Southeast Regional Championship. I went for a one. He was high shooting one out of six dogs, and he had the second highest score at the regional. And
Nice.
so it was, and he pulled off a 98 in protection.
Wow.
So it was success by accident. I didn't know what I was doing. It took me a long time to repeat that.
Did that light the fire for you though? That first time, did you know at that moment, I'm gonna do this. I got to stick with this.
No, what lit the fire for me is in Germany when I didn't want to do bite work. And the club members knew that I didn't want to do bite work. All I was doing was just the obedience because my
Yeah.
wife at the time didn't want a dog to bite. Neither did I because the Omen had just came out. You remember the
Okay.
Rottweilers? You know,
Yeah.
so we called them devil dogs and shit. So
Yeah.
we didn't want that happening. And one day I went out and we have those little German boxes. They had those German boxes that you put the
Hmm.
dogs in over there. I have some here at the club that we do for the club members, and it was all full because I didn't have one. So I had tired my dog out, and I'm in the clubhouse drinking a beer, and the train director at the time went over and started messing with my dog, and really brought out some stuff in him, and I'm watching. I'm angry. I mean, I'm really mad. And they see me in the big picture window, and they come into place, and they start apologizing, and I said some choice words and got my dog and left for about a month. But that's where the fire started, whether I
Oh,
wanted to or not. So they
right.
came to my club. I was a club manager over there. They came to my club, and we sat down and talked about it. And I said, man, I was angry because you did what I asked you not to do, but I was also angry because I liked it.
There you go. There you
So
go.
it was started then in about 83. Yeah.
And when did you get your first shepherd?
96. And I made the team in 97.
Awesome. Now, did you just realize, Wallace, to go further, you had to wind up with a shepherd or a Malinois or something? Did you just
No,
want to go
I was
further in
not
the
I was
sport?
I was not I was not convinced of that. What I was convinced of is that I wanted to make shooting my profession.
Okay.
And in order to do that, I would have, no matter what I did with a Rottweiler, and I had a lot of success with Rottweilers, but no
Hmm.
matter what I did with a Rottweiler, I would still have to prove myself because it was a German Shepherd sport. And I found out real quick that if you do it with a German Shepherd,
Sure.
everybody wants you. Rottweiler people want you.
Yeah.
Malinois people want you at the time. At the time, everybody
Hmm.
wanted you that was doing Schützen at the time. If you did it well with a Shepherd, that was it. So I decided that, okay, I will go after a German Shepherd and try to conquer that world if I could. And it worked out. And then I realized how magnificent the German Shepherd is.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what's the biggest difference about the sport from when you started to today? And is it in a positive or a negative as far as being different? The change. I know you've seen a lot of changes.
Well, I'm always one of those that embrace change. Someone asked me, that was a good question because I've done a lot of interviews, and they asked me, what would I change? And I say, nothing. You have to be able, you won't hear me if you know me talk about my accomplishments. That's nothing. You're a lucky person. You win a national. You were lucky that day because there's a lot of other great trainers there. What you will hear me talk about is my longevity. and you don't have longevity unless you're able to change. These
Yeah.
kids out here nowadays are so good, man. They're so good, and it's incredible. I watch these people with these teaching these dogs different behaviors and different things. They're good, but they catch hell kicking my ass because I'm adapting. I can
Well,
work
what?
with the change. So I don't see anything. The dogs, they want to say was tougher. No, they got away with shit back then. They're not tougher, I don't think. I got a dog down that's really, really tough.
Yeah.
He's a Vegas son. Vegas is tough.
Hmm.
So
Sure.
I don't think it was tougher. They just got away with things. They didn't care about grips. They didn't care about animation and power and the obedience. They didn't care. None of that meant nothing to them as long as the dog did it back in those days. But with everything else, with time, things changes. We used to
Sure.
ride horses to work. Try to ride a horse to work now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so things
They
change, and I accept those changes.
Sure. Well, you talked about a lot of the young people, and there is a lot of phenomenal young trainers out there. A big part of that, though, is because of people like you. People. These young guys have people like yourself that went through a lot of the hardships, and you didn't have all this stuff at your access today. Social media, the videos, the ability to watch and learn so much without ever stepping foot out of the house. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know it's people like you that's a big part of the reason. And a lot of young trainers that have worked with you contacted me for this, and they sing your praises. You're extremely well respected in the
They're
industry, for sure.
lying. They're lying.
Yeah. Now, speaking of young trainers, um who your biggest influences when you were coming up, when you started this? Was there a couple of people that really just, you were like, man, I want to be like this guy, or someone that just had a
No,
lot of
I never,
influence?
I never wanted to be like anybody. That
Yeah.
that's that wasn't me. But Gene England was a big influence.
Oh,
Gary
I know.
Hammerhand,
Yeah.
and we have had some problems over the years. You know, for reasons we buried the hatchet now. But I learned a lot about tracking and a whole lot of other things from Gary Hammerhand. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think I will live to see the accomplishments that Gary did. He may not be able to come back and do it again. Maybe, who knows? He's, like Jim Brown. People still think Jim Brown can run for 1,000 yards, and he's 80
Yeah.
years old. So Gary may be able to do that. But I know when he was on the top, he was a bad boy. No
Yeah.
one will. I don't think no one with all the trainers that they have now will ever win 6 nationals. I don't see that happening. Going to 21 world championships. I don't see that happening.
Yeah. That's
You know,
crazy.
I don't see it. At 67, I may not live to see it. But some of these young kids all records are made to be broken. So Gary was influential. Um, Dean Calderon, although we didn't train a lot, but also admired him and understood what he did. And of course, Gene England. But the person that I trained with and learned tracking from was Gary Hammerhand. And your dogs have to track in the sport, just as simple. But so those guys influenced me. But all these, Debbie Zappia, you
Hmm.
know, an amazing woman.
Sure.
Um, yeah, I call her the queen.
Yeah. Yeah. She's pretty amazing, for sure.
Godfrey Deal die. Godfrey fucking
I
Deal
saw
die.
it.
I
Yeah.
got a quick
Mhm.
story to tell you. I know we're limited on time,
Yeah. No,
but
go ahead.
but back when I was arrogant. Some people may think I'm still arrogant. There was a club here in Atlanta called the Chattahoochee Club that me and another guy started. And this is when Godfrey was first coming into the country. And he was, can you hear me?
Yeah. Could hear you.
Okay. And he was just phenomenal, coaching people this and this place, that place, doing great. So I called Godfrey Deal Die and asked him could he put on a shot collar seminar. He said, "Oh, I don't put on shot collar seminars. I do dog training seminars." I said, "Well, we know how to train a dog. We don't know how to use shot calling. You're the master at that, he says. I make the long story short. He says, let me ask you a question. He said, do you know how to use a leash? I said, yeah, I know how to use a leash. He said, then you should know how to use the shot collar. And hung the goddamn phone up on me. I had never met this man. Never met him. But we end up being real good friends after that. And it's true. I never took a shot collar lesson. Never.
That's awesome.
It's the same. Yeah. So, yeah, Godfrey was a big influence. Those guys.
Yeah, I just saw that he passed, and a lot of people were influenced by him for sure. Do you train very differently today than you did back then, Wallace?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In which way?
Well, I try to manipulate the dogs a little bit more. I still got that King Kong in me now.
Sure.
I buy those kind of dogs that need King Kong. But like I said, I wouldn't be as successful as I am now, or making world teams from '97 up to now. Everybody I know that was making teams in '97, not everybody, but the majority of them are no longer around.
Sure.
I'm still around, and you don't be around staying the same. So for me, it don't seem like I changed, but like, for instance, I've been posting videos of this buzz box that I bought about 12 years ago to change my dog's positioning and healing. It's a target.
Yeah, I saw that.
And 12 years ago I got it, and I didn't use it. And I said, well, I've tried a couple of things here. Compulsion ain't working, and e-call ain't working. The ball and I tried everything, and he still wouldn't give me the position I want. He was crowding me. Then I said, let me try something different, totally different, and it's working. So yeah, I'm not the same guy. I feel like I am, but I'm not. But I don't forget those things either. That's the problem with the younger guys now. The younger trainers, men and women, is that they don't have that. This dog must do it in them.
Sure.
They don't have that. So when they get to trials, I watched the trial today, and dogs fell apart because they didn't have that. Nor do they travel a lot. They train within their own little bubble. That bubble sounds a lot. You hear that a lot nowadays because the teens playing in bubbles. So I'm using that word. They train within their own bubble, and they're afraid to go anywhere where they have to do something to their dogs. This is my opinion. They may not say that, but where they have to do something to the dog, say, hey, we're on a new field. You got to do this today.
Yeah.
I can't manipulate you everywhere I go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. That's what's missing today.
Yeah. You're going to get a lot of contacts about your box there, and people are going to have all kinds of questions now to say, man, I can't fix my dog either. That you're going to get slammed. They're going to want to know more about that, But I saw you
tell
video.
them I get paid. Tell them I get paid for that now.
As you should.
It's my job.
Yeah. The thing tough doing it on a holiday weekend, but the one thing about doing it early is the people in Europe get to watch. So we have some people on from Belgium and England and Scotland on here right now, and everybody wants to hear you talk a little bit, As far as someone just asked a question here. Do you still dislike tracking at all out of the 3 different exercises? Is that your least favorite? Or did you learn to love it after all these years?
That's a really good question. They probably going to ask me a bunch of questions. What I'm saying is a really good question. Well, if someone would say and ask me to vote to take tracking out of IGP, I would raise my hand and say, take that shit out today. Now, understand, I have mastered Schützen tracking. That doesn't mean that I'm the best. There's 1,000 people better than me, but I understand it very well. I do.
Sure.
It's not a real problem for me. The problem is I do it more than anybody. I track my dogs a lot. I got 8, 9 people that I'm coaching all the time since I've started coaching, and I'm out there with their dogs. I see thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of tracks that shit get old. So if they
Yeah.
take that out, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
upset at all. I raise my hand, but I do like it. I like it, but I can't say it's my least favorite. It's just
Hmm.
it's just very time consuming and it gets old because I do it a lot.
Sure. Yeah. Time consuming. Justin Rigney says hello. He says much respect for Wallace. Let him
Tell
know he's not
Justin
a.
I say hello.
He said he's not a bobblehead. He wants you to know he's not a bobblehead.
I never called him no bobblehead. What are you talking about? He's too big for me to be trying to call a bobblehead.
I guess so. What was your proudest moment all these years in the industry? It doesn't have to be in competition. Was there one moment that sticks out in your head that you were pretty damn?
I told you there's no achievement that I'm extremely proud of. Um, what I am proud of is my longevity. That's
Okay.
it. I've
Now,
been competing at that level for a long time, so I am proud of that. But each achievement that I've accomplished, I'm all pretty proud of them. I know the first nationals that I won, and this is a true story. It was an empty feeling standing on the podium. You
why?
chase it, and you chase it, and you chase it. And when you get there, you're like, wasn't what I thought it was going to feel like.
You
It was
enjoyed the
just
process more than the ending.
then it ended. Now, for about a month, I did nothing until I looked on the internet and saw some shit about my dog that was talking negative. Then I said, okay, let me go after number two.
That's good. Sometimes that's all you need, is a little fire. I got a few questions here. Tyler wants to know what's the best way to get started in Schutzen. I'm curious. I'm getting my German Shepherd into it. Also, how difficult is it to change the name of a command? For example, swap to drop it to out. That's from
The
Tyler.
first one, he need to find a club.
Sure.
He needs to find a club that's relatively close to him. If not, be willing to drive to get into Schutzen. Okay. Now, second, it takes just one session. We just got a dog. A friend of mine, one of the guys that I'm coaching. You know Ron Fox? Have you met Ron Fox?
No. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have. I believe I
You have?
have.
Okay. Ron sold his dog recently to a guy that I'm coaching. And Ron used all English. That's his way of protesting, I guess. He said, I speak English and I'm
I
from
could
New
appreciate
England and I'm not saying German. So the guy that got the dog wanted to start speaking English. I said, no, we're going to start right now saying German commands. The dog understood the situation and there's been no problem. You swap it just like that. Pow.
that. Sure.
Just like that.
Sure. I
They
think
don't
a
care
lot.
about this. They don't care about the words. They only care about the situation.
And I think a lot of young trainers make the mistake of thinking because they have a German Shepherd or Malinois, their dog's going to be able to be a good competitor or a personal protection dog. They just look at the breed and they don't pay a lot of attention of the genetics and where the dog's coming from. And then they're very disappointed, and a really good dog is hard to find out there. And so when people want to not put the time into doing it or spend the money, they're often let down very much. What's the best you've ever seen? Is there one that stands out in your mind? Anybody's dog, any breed? Was there one dog you're like, damn, I
Repeat
wish
that.
that was my dog?
Repeat that because
What,
you kind of froze up on me.
what's the best dog you've ever seen? Was there one that stands out in your head to where you were like, damn, I wish that was my dog out of all these years?
Yeah, I had a guy I used to train with named Charlie Mazzeros. He had a dog named Toro. It's the best dog I've ever seen in my life. In
Shepherd?
my life. Yeah, German Shepherd. He won about 5 or 6 GSDCA nationals. There was WDA at the time, but he won about 5 or 6 of those things. And Toro, I envied him with Toro so much. Toro's the kind of dog. The last championship that he won with the dog, he's a truck driver. He entered the trial. He didn't get here till late till draw and got the end of the draw. So he got what was left. Never practiced, never got and tore their asses out the frame with this dog. Toro was an awesome dog. I don't know the kill name, but do you know Charlie Mazzeros?
No, Mm-mm.
Yeah, they call him Crazy Charlie.
No, I don't.
He's from Hungary, but Toro is probably the best dog I've ever seen in my life. And then Osco from Gary, and then Hank. Hank
Awesome.
was his nose dog. Yeah.
Carolyn Hart wants to know, she says she's going for her first IGP-1 in November. What advice can Wallace give me to keep calm, keep her nerves calm?
Don't just go out there. Nerves is part of it. That's part of the feeling. Don't try to keep the nerves calm. Just go out there, train your dog, and then just go out there and do your job. Um, I came in third in the world one year because my nerves got calm, and I never want to be that calm again. Phil Hosher was the team captain, and I was sitting waiting on, I was the next set up. I'm sitting up there with my dog, letting him unload with that ball, being stupid. And Phil Hosher came over and said, Wallace, all you need is a 93 in obedience, and no one can beat you. And it was a day left. He said,
Oh,
no one will
wow.
beat you. I said, shh. My dog was cracking bees in obedience on a regular at a high level. I said, my dog can shit a 93. I'm just sitting back there all calm and they collected. Well, I found out that my dog can shit a 90. So,
Uh,
so the nerves is part of it.
sure.
Embrace it. When you don't feel any nerves, what's her name again? Carolyn?
Carolyn. Yep.
Carolyn, when you don't feel any nerves, then you either really, really good or you really, really cocky.
There you go. Great advice.
I was really, really cocky. The nerves is part of it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And you could talk to the best in the world in any category, professional athletes, musicians, they all say the same thing. They still get as worked up and nervous when they're stepping out to perform as they did in the beginning. That is part of it. Wanda
I
Cunningham.
get that question a lot. I do. Do you get nervous, Wallace? I said, yes. I get more nervous at club trials than I do at championships. And I get nervous at championships.
Now, do you think it makes a difference, Wallace, because you are so well respected and well known in the sport? Does that put added pressure on you?
A little.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny when you say well
Leaders come
respected.
out.
I guess you could say that, but I know people watch. I do know
Sure.
that. They watch, and for whatever reasons, I hope this motherfucker fail, or rah Wallace, you my man, whatever, for whatever reason, but they watch. And yeah, I feel the pressure, but not once I say foos.
Gotcha. There you go. Miss Wanda Cunningham says, Wallace, if you were to do it all over again, would you do anything different?
Yeah, I would listen to people. I wouldn't be as cocky. I was very cocky. Do you think people don't like me now? When I was in my 30s, they really hated me in the sport. Really hated me. I hated myself.
Really?
Yeah. I would listen to people. Harahan and I trained together, but I was a really, really good helper. I mean, not just your average kind of guy, really, really good helper. And,
Mhm.
with top trainers, they always looking for that. Nobody wanted to train with me because I was such an asshole. I was real cocky. And so I had to travel around and learn things the hard way. And when I could have just learned it right here, you know,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. I think a lot of people find you very intimidating, Wallace. You're a big
Until
presence.
until they get to know me.
Sure.
I heard that and I understand that. I wear transition lenses and they dark and South Metro uniform is dark and all that good shit. But until they get to know me, then they know I got 1,001 jokes. I got all kind of dirty jokes, and they start laughing and they say, "Well, this ain't so bad," but that's a bad thing because they get common, and then they want to talk shit to me, and I'm saying, "Wait a minute now."
Yeah. Yeah. You can't find that middle ground. But now, when you started out, Wallace, I know today, and this is great that it's all dog training because people really want to hear about that. But today, with all the issues going on today, was it rare to find people of color competing in Schutzen back then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
not here in Atlanta, and it never has been. But around the country, I would either be the only person back on the field or T Floyd. And T is
Sure.
from my hometown. Actually, T used to live around the corner from me, and we didn't know this until later
That's
when we
funny.
was kids. But or T Floyd. And so yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I saw a lot of bad things. I was called nigger on several occasions, not to my face,
Sure.
but it came to me. You know, uh, I'm trying to stay off that subject as much as I can, but
Sure.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm here in the dirty South. I understand that with a Rottweiler,
Yeah.
and I was cocky on top of that,
Uh-huh.
cocky, arrogant. So those things added up problems here in the South, and I was
Yeah.
also kicking ass with Rottweilers, so that really made it even worse. Um, so yeah, I ran into a lot of roadblocks in the South, personal. I mean, some real stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I can imagine. Absolutely. Anyone who's been doing this a long time, but yeah, I could only imagine, and being in the South is definitely different from up north. I've born and raised up north in New Jersey in the New York area, and now I live in Kentucky. And it is very different all over the country, and I've got to
But
see.
understand this. I have a lot of black support, and I support my black people. But I learned my craft from white people
Sure.
because the only other black person that could have taught me was T, and we was probably around that same level, and he was 13 hours away, or he was on the West Coast. So I didn't really know T until I started competing myself. So everything I learned from white people. So and everything that came negative from other white people gave me the heads up that it was coming. So when people read things on my timeline, that's
Yeah.
it sounds fucked up, but they don't really know me. They don't really know me.
Yeah. And same thing with me. Totally different perspective, but people think they know me if they see one thing that I say. And the truth is, a big part of me doing this was let's give people a platform, not to talk about one area, one subject, things, just to get to know the people. Because if I interview 30 black trainers, you're going to get 30 different perspectives, 30 different people. And that was a big part of what I wanted people to realize, and and when people were asking me about you, I didn't know how you would receive it, and I'm so grateful you did. It's just absolutely fantastic. I'm very honored, and I hope that I can make it down and come hang with your club and watch you guys.
You have fun.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that
Yeah,
way.
you have to have thick skin at South Metro.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. I got
we
that.
have we have Trump supporters in the club, and we have Biden supporters in the club. Then you have somebody that don't give a shit about no parties. That's me and a few others. And you have to have thick skin. And
Yeah,
that's the club is at my house. So if you're gonna dish it, you better be able to take it.
that's right.
Because if you show us that you can't, show me that you can't take it, then I'm gonna ask you to leave and don't come back. You can't talk to Ron Fox, who is an ultra conservative, and talk about Trump real bad, and then when you say something about who you supporting, you want to get mad and go to fighting and carrying on. No, you gotta get the fuck on. You gotta be able to take it. And so people know there's no Wallace Payne way when it comes to training. You train. All I want you to do is title dogs. If you train with me, then yeah, I'm more into you need to do it this way. But if not, we have 30 something members. Not everybody train with me, and I don't care who they train with. So people really don't know me that well. They just know what they see. Um, one person said something on the internet about they had a lot of respect for me, and I said, "Why? Why? You don't know me. All you know is what you see on Facebook with me, what I'm doing with dogs. You don't know what I am or who I am. So how could you really respect me or dislike me now? Or dislike me now? What did I do to make you dislike me now? What did I do then to make you respect me? If you respected me behind my achievements, then you have a false narrative of me. That's just a small part of who I am.
Sure. I love it. And I love that you said that about the politics in your class. I think that's great. Oh, where'd you go, Wallace? I just
Oh,
lost them.
okay, go ahead.
You
I'm back.
there?
I'm here now. I hope.
Your screen went
Yeah, somebody called.
black. It may have
Dang.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Hold
going
on
good
now.
too.
Oh, golly.
Hey,
I
Wallace,
knew that. Yes.
I'm gonna I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna remove you, and then I'll send you the link again to come back in.
Okay.
Or just or just click. Damn it. All right, hold on, guys. I'm gonna try to bring him back in. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Oh, there he is. All right, there you are.
Good.
All right, good. Yeah. But it's funny. I was talking to Mahogany about this, who I thought did a great job. We talked time.
Yeah, that was a
I
great
saw you.
discussion. I like that.
It was. I appreciated it very much. But Wallace, of course I've gotten some backlash from this. But you know what the funny thing was? It's been very little racially motivated, hardly nothing. All the hatred I've received has all been political. It's all been about politics, and that kind of blew my mind, and that just shows you where people are. There's a lot of intolerance out there,
Well,
and,
it's funny that you brought that up because on my post, on my social injustice post, I don't care what you say. You can be you can say the most heinous things in the world. I will block you only if you start campaigning. If you
sure,
start campaigning for a politician, or if you start blaming it on the politician, or you start campaigning for parties, I'll give you a warning. If you continue to try to campaign for politicians and parties, I will block you. You can say whatever you want to say about race or how you feel about it. I might not like it. I may argue with you a little bit. I might get a little pissed off and say some nasty words, but I will not block you. The
and
minute you
see,
mention the minute
go
you
ahead.
mention a politician or a party, you're gonna get a warning from me.
And that blew me away, Wallace, because I saw a lot of posts on some of your stuff because I do read it. And I saw some things that I would have definitely blocked people. And I couldn't believe you weren't even really nasty with them. And you should have been. You definitely had a right to. And you kind of just handle it like as matter of fact. And I was so confused. I'm like, I'm so blown away that he's this patient because I wouldn't have been. And that's why I never chime in on your page. I keep the heated stuff on my own page because some of the things that I've seen said, I was like, wow, that's uncalled for.
I've
Dariel
lost
Arden,
I've lost it I've lost it a few times, but that really don't solve the problem. And Facebook is not going to solve the problem. I guess I'm just letting off steam when I go there. But um, but I don't want to talk politics on there. And nowhere ever, unless it's a joke. Every now and then I'll put a joke up there. Someone brought that up the other day from Canada, and I had to tell them, mind your own business. You ain't from here. But
yeah.
I made a joke about Biden, and someone else made a joke about something else. I said, but if you look through all my years, the only thing I've ever done political was say, go vote.
Sure. Sure.
That's it.
Totally get it. No, I think I love your whole attitude about that. Give me a day in your life, your routine with your dog when you wake up in the morning.
Well, it's pretty dynamic. I don't know what I'm going to do half the time. I try to make a plan, but a
Hmm.
lot of it depends on how I feel that morning. Um, I try to want to go tracking. I try to track him at least once or twice a week when I'm not doing anything. And then when I'm getting ready for something, I'll track him 4 or 5 times a week. I typically, about 5 times a week, have someone here that I'm coaching in the morning. So I'm going tracking with them. Right now, and I like to work on problems
Hmm.
opposed to trying to work the whole thing. So I will isolate problems and work on them and then add it back into the routine once I figure it's solved. So my day consists of getting up at 5 every morning,
Hmm.
taking my diabetes medicine,
Hmm.
try to eat some breakfast to keep it from getting too low, and then get with clients or with my dog. I'm gonna do something with him throughout the day. Something, It may
Sure.
not be everything. Like I'm working on outs. That's all I'm gonna work on that day.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, do you even train pet dogs, or is straight up Schutzen stuff,
No, straight up Schutzen.
Wallace?
No, are
Okay,
you
that's
there?
what I
Yeah, yeah,
thought.
yeah. Straight up
Yeah.
Schutzen. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I
If it's pet dogs, I would refer, send them to somebody else. And I travel a lot too, Larry. I
Yeah.
haven't this year because of the
Right.
virus, but I travel a lot. So I don't have time to take people dogs in. That's something I will do when I retire, though, for sure, because I
Gotcha.
enjoy it.
Gotcha. Okay. Now here's a question by Christopher Upton, and this is more off the dog thing. And if you don't want to answer it, total okay. Not a lot of questions coming in now. But Christopher said, Wallace, can I ask a question? Why is the N word okay for black people okay to say and so offensive if said by a white person? You can answer it or you don't have to.
Well, I'll answer it because we didn't create that word. We took the word and made it suitable for us. We say, okay, we can do that. But when the creator of the word says it, when the creator of the word says it, it has a different meaning.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and just the mere fact that he would ask that question, why do you think you need to do what I do with my own people? You can't. I don't try to, you know, why? Why do you want to even call me a nigger? Why? That's
Right.
what he need to ask himself. Don't ask me why I can do it to other black people. Ask him why he want to do it.
Right.
It's not a term of endearment coming from somebody white, unless, unless of course we have endeared him. Because there are comedians that's white that says it in their routine, and we'll laugh our ass off for sure. So I get this shit all the time. Why do you even want to say it? You know,
Right.
ask that question. What's his name again? What was his name? What was his
And
name?
and I and that's Christopher Upton.
Christopher. You got to ask yourself why you want to say it.
I
Don't
don't
ask
think
me
he
why I
wants
say it. Yeah.
I don't think he wants to say it. If I'm reading this correctly, I think he's wanting to know, why is it okay for anyone to say it? If I had to rewrite the question myself, you understand what I'm saying? But I totally
The same
totally get
reason
it.
why probably the reason why he don't eat chitlins. I don't eat
Yeah,
them
he just
either.
said I'd never say it myself. That's what he said. I'd
Yeah.
never say it myself.
But he don't eat chitlins. But we eat chitlins. You know,
For mine eat
we
chitlins.
eat chitlins,
I'm not
huh?
sure.
Yeah,
I'm
we eat
not
pig
sure.
guts. I don't eat pig guts. I don't eat pork. Period.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, there's a reason why we do these things,
sure.
and it goes back to slavery. Chitlins is what the poor slave owners gave us, because they couldn't afford to give us a whole hog, because they was either selling them or they was eating them themselves. So we ate all the extremities and the innards, and we made a delicacy out of it. So yeah,
Mhm.
we still do that. So of course we will endear ourselves. Hey, whatever, use the N word, but we can eat whatever part of the pork we want now. And so
That's
we can
right.
still say what we want to say. But if a white person throw us some chitlins and say, hey, y'all cook that meat, it'd be an insult. But
Sure.
yeah, so it was the creator of this.
Absolutely. Speaking of eating, what do you feed your dog?
Canine Cravens.
Okay.
Shout out to Canine Cravens.
Is that a raw food?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Good. Is it all business with your dog, Wallace, or you guys spend just a lot of social time hanging out? Like, you
Now
know,
that's a real good question. No, my dog, I hang out. Now we don't hang out like go for hikes and shit like that, but I play with my dog. I don't know if you ever
okay,
seen my tracks. At the end of the track, no matter what, my dog jump up in my arm. I play
awesome.
with my dog. We wrestle, we play, but he stays in the barn and I stay in the house, that kind of thing. But no, I have a real problem when I go to a seminar. I do a seminar and I say, play with your dog, and they bring out a ball. I said, no,
Right.
play with your dog. And then the dog
Right.
don't want to have anything to do with him. I said,
Love it.
here's your problem.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yep. That's you hit it right on the head there. And that's something a lot of people overlook. One of the biggest things I've pushed for a long time, Wallace, in the pet dog world, I've been very vocal with pet dog trainers. I think one of their biggest mistake is not getting with working dog people. I think it's a tremendous mistake for pet dog trainers not to get with high level working dog people and learn from them, because a dog is a dog and learning is learning. And I think if you understand the complexities of the working dogs, the highly driven dog that performs on the field and different, don't you think? And what's your opinion? I think goes far to the pet dog world in allowing you to be a better trainer overall. What do you think about that?
I think you're correct. And then there's another thing too. Most people are into methods, whether they know it or not, or how
Yes.
to. They'll
Mhm.
go out and get some how-to books and videos. I just had one of my guys who just got the dog from Ryan Fox, and I've been training with him now for maybe 5 or 6 years. I said, you need to go out and get this book called How Dogs Learn by Dr. Bailey and Dr. Birch. It's a dog behavior book. I said, once you learn why they do things, you'll learn how to use the best method to suit you. And so the biggest problem that people have is that everybody wants to know how. No one
Mhm.
want to know why.
I love it, man. You're so right, Wallace. And I was going to ask you too. Any books that you can recommend? Any videos you recommend? But you
You,
answered a lot of the
you
questions I had without me
every
even asking
every
them.
right in the middle of your question, you froze up on me, so I didn't get it.
Oh, sorry. I said you've answered a lot of the questions without me even asking. I was going to ask you if there are any books that you really think highly of or recommend to people, and you covered all that without me even asking. And you said you're under a time restraint. We're at 47 minutes, and I don't want to keep you because I want to be respectful of your time, Wallace. And
I said
I
45, and we could push an hour.
sure.
We could put
Okay.
right at an hour.
But yeah, I love that. And a lot of people, you're right. Today, methods and techniques are I just posted a video today. Not many people will watch it. It's 40 minutes. It's long. It was a first private lesson with a couple with a very shut down German Shepherd that has a lot of anxiety. I spent an hour and a half just getting this dog to be able to play and chase a ball again because it's shut down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no method for that stuff. You have to understand how the animal thinks and why it's doing what it's doing, and how can we
Absolutely.
change what's up here. You know,
That's
we,
right.
we can't start working on sitting down and come if the dog's screwed up in the head. We got to fix the head first,
That's
you
right.
know. But Dariel says, what was the name of the book that Wallace just mentioned? It was How Dogs Learn, correct? By
How
Dr.
how
Bailey.
yeah how dogs learn by Dr. Bailey and Dr. Birch.
There you
And
go.
then there's another one by Dr. Bruce Fogel called The Dog's Mind. This one
Yeah,
is a little harder reading, but it's not real thick. It's maybe a couple hundred pages. It gets
sure.
into the clinical end of it, the psychological end. Then it gets into the practical end. Start talking about operant conditioning, which is dog training
Hmm.
101. And then there's my favorite book that I reference all the time by Dr. Pamela Reed. It's called Accelerated Learning.
Mine
How
too,
dogs
Wallace.
learn. That's yours. You like it? I
Yeah.
like it too.
My
Yeah.
two favorite books are The Talent Code, which has nothing to do with dog training. It's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's how organisms learn basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Accelerated Learning. I've recommended that book for years also. Great
Yeah.
book. Absolutely. Someone just asked where to go. Bick Benedict says, Wallace, will South Metro host any future Seeger shows?
Ah, I'm sure we will, but right now we can't. We don't know what's going on there. And I speak to him a lot on the internet, but
Okay.
um yeah, we will. Uh, that's what we do. We like doing stuff like that. But right now, you know, it's just rough doing anything. It's
Gotcha.
really rough. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll start wrapping it up. What do you want people to know about you, Wallace? The misconceptions they may have, or what do you want people to know about you
I,
that they may not?
I really don't know what the misconceptions are. I just want people to understand that I may not be that person you see on that shooting field. You know,
Mhm.
I may or may not be as great a trainer as you think I am or not. You have to come around me and get to know me. You know, I, I get a lot of stuff from people. I was in the elevator I got on the elevator one time, and this guy said, "Hey, Wallace, what's up, man?" I turned and looked, and I'm very cordial to people I speak. I didn't know him from Adam, but they know me from magazines and videos and stuff like that. But I may not be that guy. I
Right.
might have been that guy like, "Who in the fuck are you?" And people need not put people on the pedestal. You know what when I told you I didn't want to be like anybody in
Hmm.
shooting, and I'm not. And nor do I coach my proteges to be like me. We're not cookie cutters at South Metro. We're just not.
Yeah.
You know, I try to find the best of each quality. So I don't know what the misconceptions are. I mean, that one person that says, "Hey, I don't know if I respect you anymore," and I'm saying, "Well, why? Why did you respect me to start with? And
That's
what
a
can I
great
do
question.
now to change that?" Yeah.
That's a great question, and that's something no one ever thinks to ask. That's pretty powerful. Well, I tell
And
you, Wallace.
well, I do know one thing before we end. People used to think of me as being the Incredible Hulk, when it come to dog training. And I was back in those days. That's when I told you I was successful with karate, but it was by accident. Because back then, before Godfrey really revolutionized obedience, it was all ground and pound, baby. We just ground.
Sure.
Wasn't no feeding hot dogs, cookies, as they called it back then. None of that
Yeah.
shit. It was you gonna do it and gonna do it. So
Right.
uh, but my longevity changed me. So the very first seminar I ever did, people were looking at me and I could tell they was wondering. I said, let me explain something to you. I'm that new Marvel Hulk. I'm the Incredible Hulk that will say, listen, you really don't want to do this because I can destroy you in a minute. Let's sit down and talk about this a minute and get this done properly because I can destroy you. Well, I'm that guy. I still know how to be the Incredible Hulk, but I also, when it comes to training dogs, I want to manipulate them as best I can. But
Sure.
I will go there as fast as I can. My first seminar, I went out, did this, and this may turn off some people. I asked them, somebody, give me a clicker. I put a clicker on the ground. I said, give me a chain, regular choke chain. Give me a first saver, pinch collar. I asked somebody if they had a sharpened prong. You remember them days when they had
Mhm.
sharpened prongs? Somebody raised their hand. I said, I ain't mad at you. And I put it on the ground and shock collar, leather collar, harness, leash. And I said, anybody got an extra pair of boots? And they gave me an extra pair of boots. And I lined all that shit up. And we went tracking. And I knew I was going to get the question. So when we came back after tracking, they said, well, Wallace, why you have all that lined up? I said, I kick and I click and I kick and everything in between. That's me.
There you go.
I
There
do
you
whatever
go. Love it.
necessary. One of my things was Michael Mex coined a phrase that I use in dog training. I'm going to get sit by any means necessary. If I can
There you
click and get it, I will click and get it. If I have to do something more drastic than that, I will. And and that's the difference between me and the kids nowadays. Um, they go there. I don't practice at championships. I don't practice because I train before I get there. It's not a situational thing for me.
Sure. Right.
It's a soccer field. They doing that's what they're gonna see. So why
Yeah.
not go train on a soccer field? So I don't
Right.
practice. I don't. If they would let me use my equipment, yes. But the first time one scream, you're gonna get DQ'd. So I'm not gonna go out there and say, man, we all teach with compulsion, no matter what they say. So I'm not gonna go on the practice field with 2 minutes to 5 minutes of practice and teach my dog he can get away with things. I'd rather for him to get away with it for real than for me to teach him to get away with it. So I don't
Gotcha.
practice when I go to championships. And it's because I have enough have to in them and enough situations in them that they will do it. The biggest compliment I ever got is, Wallace, we know you train with pressure, but they don't look like it.
That's awesome. That's important. Yeah,
Yeah.
reliability.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Wallace. Thanks so much for
I
doing this.
enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
me too. I hope we do it again. And if you'll have me, I definitely would love to come down and hang with your guys
I already said that 3 times.
You got it.
All you got to do is come down here.
Yeah, I'm not
Show
that
up.
far. 4-hour drive.
Where are you?
That's it. In Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
north
I'm
of
familiar with
Nashville.
there.
So
I know it.
Atlanta,
I'm familiar with it.
Atlanta's not
All right.
far. But I appreciate you taking time on this holiday weekend, and this was great. You know, you answered so much dog stuff, and I really, really enjoyed it. You know, and if I could ever do anything, you know, I respect the hell out of you for many reasons. All right, and I thank you very
All right.
much
Thank
for
you very
doing
much,
this, my
Larry.
friend.
All right. Appreciate
You
it.
have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend, my friend.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.